These two books, oh, I just hit myself and that hurts a lot. What's up everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be my romance book recommendation for 2022. I did one of these videos last year for Valentine's Day. I kind of want to do a yearly thing on my channel where for every Valentine's Day I would bring you some romance book recommendation, because I do read quite a bit of romance book every year. So I thought it would be fun to do this every year. None of these books were on last year's recommendation video, so these are all brand new. And if you want even more recommendation, then I will link that video up here right above, so you can go click and go watch it after you watch this one. Also, if you have any book recommendation, I would love it if you would write them down below. I'm always looking for a new romance book to read. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to thumb this video up and subscribe. It would make my day. And without further ado, let's get started. The first book that I have on this list I had to put on here, and it is The Love Hypothesis by Ailey Hazelwood. If you guys watch my best book of the year, then you'll know this was my favorite romance book that I read last year. I loved it so much. I was hesitant into picking this book up because everyone was raving about it, so I was kind of nervous to see if I was going to like it as well, and I did. I completely understand the hype. This was so good. I cannot even talk. This is about a girl named Olive. She is a PhD candidate in biology, and then one day she kind of kisses randomly this guy in their lab because her best friend is interested in a guy she dated like a long time ago, and she keeps telling her best friend, you can go date him, I am over him, it's fine. But her best friend is like, no, this is girl code, I don't want to go there, I don't want to date this guy. So in order to prove her best friend that she's over him, she kisses this random guy. Enters Adam. He is a professor in this university, and they start fake dating because he has something to gain out of fake dating as well. And so that's how they fall in love, and it's their romance, and it was so good. I love this book so freaking much. This is supposed to be a Kylo Ren and Rey fan fiction, but honestly, don't let that fool you. It really has nothing to do with that, besides maybe the fact that Adam is kind of this grumpy guy who has kind of a hard shell to break. That's pretty much the only comparison I can draw with like Kylo Ren and Rey. Like, besides that, it is completely different. It was just so much good. I loved it. If you guys want more of my thoughts on this book, then I will link my best book of the year video that I made. The next book that I have on my list is another recent read that I have, and it is One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. And honestly, I should probably include Red, White and Royal Blue on this list as well, because I did read this one last year, and both of these were amazing. I do think I'm in the minority where I think I like this book a little bit more than this book. This is about a girl named August. She moves to New York because she just switched school, and she meets this girl on the subway named Jane, and she quickly realized that she could only see Jane and like interact with Jane when they're on the subway. Because Jane is stuck on the subway, we don't really know why, we only know what happened to Jane, and as August is trying to figure out what happened with Jane, they kind of fall in love, and that it's their story and it's their romance. I love this book so much. It really surprised me because, like I said, I think people were not loving this book when it first came out, so I was pleasantly surprised. I love this book. I love the friendship in this book with August and her roommate. All of her roommates were so much fun. They also all got a storyline, which is something that I love in romance book. I love when the I love it when like all of the other characters also get like little mini arcs in the book. I think it makes for a much more realistic storyline. I just love this book so much. I love Jane and August's relationship and romance. I thought this book was so much fun. Like I said, I did really enjoy Red, White and Royal Blue as well. This is a male romance between I know it's Alex and Henry. Alex is the son of the first female president in the United States, and Henry is the Prince of London, and it's their romance. I really enjoyed this book as well. My only problem with this book, I will say, is we only follow Alex's point of view in this book, and I didn't love Alex. I really wished we would have Henry's point of view in this book. I think it would have added a lot more to this book. but it was still a really cute and fun romance. These two books I highly recommend. I do want to pick up some new books from her when she comes out with some. The next book that I have for you on this list is going to be The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. Honestly, the whole Bridgerton series would be a recommendation for me. I loved all of them, but I will focus on the first book in here because it is one of those series that I would recommend reading in order. I know a lot of times historical romance, you can read them out of order, but this one I would recommend reading them in order because every book follows each other, so you would be missing a few things if you did not read them in order. So the Bridgerton series basically follows these 8 siblings, and they were all named alphabetically, which how fun is that? And the first book is following Daphne. She is the 4th children, but the eldest daughter, she's getting ready to come out on society to find a husband, but she has these 3 overbearing brothers, especially Anthony, that makes it really hard for her to find a husband. And so basically she decides to fake date with Simon. He is our main love interest in this book, and they fall in love, and it's their romance book. It is a fake dating trope, brother's best friend trope. This was really fun. I love this book. I do have a reading vlog on this book, so I will leave it up above. And so this was my first historical romance book that I've read, and honestly I've fallen in love with the genre after that. I read the whole Bridgerton series. I read a few other historical romance after that, but this for me is the OG. I love this one. It is a little bit more emotional than what you think it would be because of Simon's storyline. He had a really horrible upbringing. I would recommend checking out a few trigger warnings for this book. There is this questionable scene at the end that people don't love, which I completely understand why. It's a scene where basically consent is kind of maybe lacking. I mean, if you've seen the show, then you already know. I do think the Bridgerton series is a great introduction to the historical romance genre. I think they're super easy and fast to read. I like that all of these siblings get a storyline. They also all have really popular trope in the historical romance genre, which is why I think it's a good way to start because it kind of gets you familiar with these trope. Like I said, there's fake dating here. There's the best friend's brother. There's a few marriage inconvenience. There's the wallflower trope with the Collins and Penelope storyline. All of them are great, but like I said, I would start with this one because it is the first one and I would recommend reading them in order. Next book that I have to talk to you guys about is The Holiday Swap by Maggie Knoop. This is a holiday romance book that I read in December, and I really like this book. This is nothing spectacular, nothing out of this world, but this was just such a sweet romance book. It's about these 2 twin sisters. One is living in LA and she's running this reality TV show, baking TV show, and then the other one is living in their small hometown where she is running their family business. But one day Charlie, the sister that lives in LA, gets a injury, like a head injury, and she cannot smell for a few days, but she's up for this big promotion, so she cannot afford to take a few days off. So she asks her twin sister to come to LA and take her place while she goes back to their hometown to run their family business. And that's where the story picks up. There's obviously a romance book involving the 2 sisters. I love this one so freaking much. It was so cute. I love the idea of baking romance, but I've read quite a few last year, but I did not get the best of luck with them. I didn't really enjoy them, but this one I loved. It was so fun and so cute. I just love this one so much. The ending was a little bit cheesy, get prepared, but it is a romance book. Like, it's to be expected. Like I said, just a really sweet romance book. Nothing spectacular, but I would recommend this one if you are looking for a holiday romance book. So the last 2 books that I want to talk to you guys about is going to be, once again, an author that I want to recommend to you guys, and it's going to be Emily Henry. As an author, I read Beach Read and People We Meet on Vacation last year, and I love both of them. I would recommend both of them, so that's why they're both on my list. People We Meet on Vacation is the first book of hers that I read, and I love this one so much. It's about these 2 best friends who used to go on vacation every year together, but something happened in the past and they're not talking to each other anymore, and so they try to go on this last vacation together to try to solve their problem, and it's their last chance to become friends again. And obviously they fall in love, and it's their romance book. It is kind of a friends to enemies to lover romance, which is very cool and interesting. I love the vacation, like travel aspect to this book as well. I will say the conflict in this book was kind of a little bit annoying and kind of a little bit frustrating, because in my opinion I did not feel like it justified all these years of them not talking to each other. And also we don't know exactly what happened to them until like the ending of the book, which kind of was a little bit frustrating. But besides that, I loved this book. It was so much fun. It was just really cute. And so since I like this one so much, I decided to pick up Beach Read, which Beach Read I feel like is a little bit different. This is about these two authors that are kind of in a writing slump. They're kind of having trouble writing their next book. She is a romance author and he is a literary fiction author, and so they decide to swipe genre. She's gonna write for him and he's gonna write for her, and that's how the story picks up. And obviously there's a romance between them. Contrary to what the title of the book would suggest, this is not as fluffy and a beach read that you would think it is. It has some like deeper meaning, or like a deeper, more emotional subject to it because of what she's going through. Basically her dad just died and she's going through a lot. He is going through some stuff as well. So it is a romance book, but it's not as beachy read than you think it would be. Nonetheless, I love this book. These two books, I would highly recommend them. They were really good. So that's it, guys. These were all of the romance books that I wanted to recommend to you guys this year. Have you read any of them? I would love to know in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day or night depending on you're watching this, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!